How to brew Bancha tea is a question we often get asked, so we thought we'd put together a complete Bancha tea brewing video. In this guide, we'll learn what Bancha tea is, how it's made, and how to brew Bancha green tea. We'll also take a look at how changing small factors in your Bancha tea preparation can lead to very different tasting cups of tea. Before we get started, it would really mean a lot to us if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for future tea videos. We have hundreds of videos on all sorts of topics related to Japanese green tea, but for this episode, we're going to focus on Bancha specifically. Without further ado, let's get started. So what is Bancha tea? Before we talk about Bancha tea brewing, let's first briefly discuss what Bancha tea is. The name translates to simple tea, which is a good way to think about it. Bancha tea is for everyday drinking, unlike some more premium gyokuro, sencha, and matcha teas, which can get quite expensive. Bancha is made out of older tea leaves, which grow lower down on the tea plant. The youngest leaves on top of the tea plant are the most sought after, as they are the highest in nutrients and the smoothest and sweetest in flavor. The younger tea leaves are reserved for premium Japanese green teas, while older leaves can be used in less expensive teas and tea blends like Bancha, Genmaicha, and Hojicha. The older leaves are higher in minerals, lower in caffeine, and they have a more subtle, almost earthy flavor with notes of cereal and wood. So how do you brew Bancha green tea? By following 4 short steps in this Bancha tea brewing guide, you will be able to prepare delicious cups of Bancha tea in your very own home. Step 1. Add 5 grams of Bancha tea to your Japanese teapot. Step 2. Pour in 150 milliliters of water at a temperature of between 70 and 80 degrees Celsius or 160 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Step 3. Let the leaves sit for 1 minute undisturbed. Finally, step 4. After the brewing time is up, you can now pour out your Bancha tea, and the built-in filter inside the teapot will automatically sift out the leaves so they don't end up in your cup. You can then reinfuse the leaves 3 to 4 more times at the same temperature and a brewing time of 20 seconds. With enough practice, you can become a master at Bancha tea preparation in no time. If you don't have a teapot at home, there are other methods you can use to brew Bancha tea. For example, a French press works particularly well, and so does a tea strainer. If you're interested in getting a free Kyushu teapot, you can sign up for the monthly tea club on our website, neoteas.com, and we'll send you a free one with your first month of tea. Now let's talk a little bit about water temperature. You may have noticed that the temperature we used for Bancha tea is quite a bit higher compared to other types of Japanese green teas. This is because the older tea leaves used in Bancha can stand up to higher temperatures without becoming too bitter. This is another positive of Bancha tea preparation, as many people find it difficult to measure out the 60 degrees Celsius water that we recommend for other types of Japanese green teas. Bancha tea can be one of the most forgiving types of Japanese green tea when it comes to temperature and brewing time. An additional benefit to Bancha tea brewing is that you can infuse the leaves many times before it loses its flavor. This allows you to get the most out of your Bancha tea and reduces the price to just a few pennies per cup. I hope this guide has taught you a lot about Bancha tea, how to prepare Bancha tea, and why it's one of the best teas for beginners. If you're interested in trying some Bancha tea for yourself, you can try out the Bancha Masuda N. This tea is produced by Mr. Masuda, a talented farmer in Shizuoka that is committed to growing green tea without the use of pesticides or chemicals. This tea is inexpensive and it has a very mild, pleasant flavor that makes for the perfect pairing for an afternoon snack. Try it out for yourself and let us know what you think. When you order tea from us, you're not only helping to support this YouTube channel, you're also helping us to support the dozens of talented farmers we work with all around Japan. We believe that by sharing these farmers' stories and their teas with people all around the world, we can help transition the tea industry into a more positive, sustainable direction. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have any questions about Bancha or green tea in general, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Until then, we'll see you next time.